Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever felt like managing your money is just this never-ending battle with pure chaos, well, you are absolutely in the right place. As your mentor on this journey, I'm going to guide you through some truly eye-opening concepts from Steve Green's book, Financial Health in the 30 Steps. Together, we're going to build your financial maturity right from the ground up. And listen, you don't need an economics degree to win with money. You just need clarity, the right mindset, and a grasp of a few fundamental principles.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap to get us from chaos to clarity. First, skills over hacks. Second, master the big three. Third, unmasking the math layer. Fourth, the minimum payment trap. And finally, your 30-day skill challenge.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Skills over Hacks.
When you're taking your very first steps into saving and budgeting, it is so incredibly tempting to look for some magic fix, right? You might be hunting for that perfect shiny new app or a secret budgeting trick to fix everything overnight. But true financial stability doesn't come from fleeting motivation. As our source material lays out so perfectly, financial stability is not built on tricks, it's built on skills practiced repeatedly. Think of it kind of like cooking. If you only memorize one single recipe, you can only make that one dish. But if you actually take the time to learn the techniques and build your skills, you can cook absolutely anything, no matter what's sitting in your fridge.
And this comparison brilliantly illustrates why relying on temporary little hacks usually backfires. You see, hacks run on emotional motivation, which is totally fleeting. It's literally like relying on a dying phone battery. Skills, on the other hand, stick around. They give you consistency and adaptability. The economy changes, life happens, your income might bounce around, but if you've practiced the actual foundational skills of managing your cash flow, you can weather absolutely any storm.
Moving right along to Section 2, Master the Big Three.
So, what exactly are these core skills? Well, Steve Green calls them the Big Three, and they're basically the behavioral habits that separate folks drowning in financial stress from those who feel totally at peace. Skill number 1 is cash flow control. Now, don't worry, this isn't about obsessively tracking every single penny every day. It's simply about building awareness, and it starts with a 5-minute weekly review. You just pick a consistent day, say Sunday. You open your bank account, glance at your balance and upcoming bills, and just ask yourself, is this week aligned with my plan? That's the whole shebang. Just 5 minutes of awareness dramatically cuts down your anxiety because it puts you right back in the driver's seat. You just can't fix what you refuse to look at.
All right, the second of the big three is delayed gratification, which is all about building your emotional resilience. Studies consistently show that human brains are wired to severely overvalue immediate rewards. We want the shiny thing right now, even if waiting is way better for us in the long run. So we need to implement the 24-hour rule. Take a second and mentally pick a specific dollar amount right now. Maybe it's $30, maybe it's $50 or $100. Got it? Okay, from now on, any non-essential thing you want to buy that crosses that threshold, you must wait exactly 24 hours before you hit that buy button.
And you're not just twiddling your thumbs during those 24 hours. You need to ask yourself 3 fundamental questions. First, do I actually still want this tomorrow? Second, does this align with my larger financial goals? And third, this one is huge, am I just buying this for a quick hit of dopamine and relief? Or does it bring real, lasting value to my life? You will be absolutely shocked at how many impulsive urges just totally evaporate after a good night's sleep. By doing this, you are actively training your willpower muscle.
Now, what's really interesting here is the third core skill, opportunity cost. Listen, every single dollar you spend is a dollar you can't use somewhere else. When you ask yourself, can I afford these $150 clothes? You're honestly asking the wrong question. The right question is, what am I giving up to spend this $150? Enter the 3-option rule. Before any decent-sized purchase, force yourself to list 3 alternative ways to use that exact same amount of money. Could it go toward an extra debt payment, maybe beef up your emergency fund, or pay for an amazing weekend experience? Suddenly, your spending stops being an emotional impulse and transforms into a highly conscious, strategic decision.
Which brings us to Section 3, Unmasking the Math Layer.
Now that we've got the behavioral stuff from the big 3 locked down, it's time to build your confidence by unmasking the math layer of personal finance. For a lot of beginners, this is the exact moment everything finally clicks, and that deep fear of interest just melts away. Let's strip away all the complicated banking jargon. The most crucial difference you need to understand in plain English is APR versus APY. APR, or annual percentage rate, is simply the yearly cost you pay to borrow somebody else's money. APY, or annual percentage yield, on the other hand, is the awesome power of earning money on your own savings thanks to compounding. Understanding this difference isn't just a vocabulary lesson, it's actual decision-making power that keeps you out of terrible loans and gets your money working for you.
And speaking of your money working for you, that leads us directly to the single most powerful financial mechanism in existence: compound interest. This isn't just adding a flat few bucks every month. It's interest that earns its own interest, which then earns even more interest. It creates this massive multiplier effect. It is a living, breathing system. And understanding it is absolutely crucial because this mechanism is either working incredibly hard for you when you save or working aggressively against you when you're in debt.
To put that into perspective, Steve Green uses a totally brilliant, if slightly brutal, analogy. High-interest debt on things like credit cards grows fast and ravenously, like a monster. That's the compounding effect pumping up your debt in the blink of an eye. On the flip side, your standard savings account often grows pretty slowly, kind of like a turtle. You have to recognize this totally unfair pace. You must stop viewing your debt as just a static number sitting on a screen and start seeing it as an aggressive threat that needs to be neutralized as fast as humanly possible.
That leads us right into Section 4, the minimum payment trap. Since we're talking about financial monsters, we have to tackle one of the most shocking realizations for anyone starting out, a trap that literally keeps families stressed out for decades. Paying only the minimum amount on your credit card is practically designed by banks to keep you stuck in their system. This quote perfectly captures the despair of someone realizing their debt hasn't budged after years of paying. It's like the credit card company gives you a tiny spoon and says, "Good luck draining the ocean." They give you this comforting illusion of progress, all while milking you for interest.
So the crucial point is what is actually happening inside that payment. When you only pay the absolute minimum the bank asks for, the vast majority of your hard-earned cash goes straight toward covering the interest. Only this tiny, basically microscopic sliver actually reduces the principal, the core debt you owe. The only way to escape this trap and shorten your timeline is to hit that debt with extra payments that go directly toward the principal. The faster you kill that monster, the faster you free up your cash for your own goals.
And finally, Section 5, your 30-day skill challenge.
All right, we've moved from financial chaos to a really clear understanding of the rules of the game. Knowledge is a fantastic weapon, but now it's time to turn that theory into action. Strict rules and restrictions are notoriously hard to stick to, but your identity naturally drives your behavior. So let's start with a really quick exercise right out of the source material. I want you to finish this sentence: I am becoming someone who. Maybe it's someone who calmly tracks their spending, or someone who always waits 24 hours before buying clothes. When you redefine who you are with money, building these new habits starts to feel incredibly natural.
Let's see how this builds into a real practical plan for the next month. This is your 30-day challenge. Today, on day 1, choose just your weakest skill from our big 3 to focus on. Maybe you really want to master that 24-hour rule first. On day 7, sit down and complete your very first, totally calm, 5-minute financial review. Focus exclusively on the consistency of just that one habit for a month. You don't need stressful, heroic efforts here. Building financial skills just requires repeating small steps. By day 30, that simple daily consistency is exactly what establishes true financial maturity.
To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one provocative question for reflection. What would change in your life, in your bank account, and in your daily stress levels 5 years from right now if you mastered these 3 simple skills today? When you stop being scared of the math, when you take control of your impulses, and when you truly grasp opportunity costs, you gain genuine freedom. So which skill will you start practicing today? Take that very first step, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.